11 Habits of a Millionaire. The real sustainable kind, not the lottery winner kind. 1. Millionaires are people with great vision and foresight. 2. They live below their means. Even with money, they avoid overspending and focus on value, not vanity. 3. They invest consistently. Stocks, real estate, businesses, they make money work for them, not the other way around. 4. They value time over money. They outsource low-value tasks so they can focus on high-value opportunities. 5. They keep learning. From books, mentors, courses, and experiences, they never stop upgrading their knowledge. 6. They build multiple income streams. They don't rely on just one paycheck. They diversify. 7. They network strategically. Relationships open doors faster than money does. 8. They track their finances. They know exactly where their money is going and how it's growing. 9. They take calculated risks. They're not reckless, but they don't let fear stop them from big opportunities. 10. They focus on solutions, not problems. Their mindset is wired toward finding ways forward. 11. They practice self-discipline. From health to spending to daily routines, they play the long game. Welcome to Street Smart Secrets. These routine habits of millionaires aren't just cliches. They're practical, sustainable, and actionable steps that can help you win with your finances. The powerful lessons behind these habits won't just inspire you. They'll serve as a roadmap to guide you on your journey toward financial freedom, the real sustainable kind, not the lottery winner kind. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like so you never miss out on more practical tips to grow your money and level up your life. Let's dive right in. When people think of millionaires, they often picture luxury cars, big houses, and easy living. But behind almost every self-made millionaire is a story of resilience. Take the story of Mike, for example. Mike started out working a regular 9-to-5 job, barely making ends meet. He tried launching a small online store 3 times and failed 3 times. The first time he lost money. The second time his business partner quit. The third time, he was forced to shut down because of poor planning. Most people would have given up. But Mike didn't. Instead, he treated every failure as tuition, not wasted effort. He read, learned, adjusted, and saved relentlessly. He lived below his means while investing in himself and his business. Slowly, his 4th attempt started to gain traction. Within 5 years, he had turned that small business into a multi-million-dollar company. Mike's story teaches us something powerful. Becoming a millionaire is not about avoiding failure. It's about surviving failure and refusing to quit. Resilience is the bridge between where you are today and the financial freedom you dream of. Like Mike and many other self-made millionaires, you can build lasting wealth by adopting these 11 powerful habits. 1. Millionaires are people with great vision and foresight. Millionaires are not just people with money. They are people with vision and foresight. They see beyond the immediate thrill of showing off wealth and instead focus on the bigger picture, building lasting financial security and impact. If you take a closer look at millionaires, one thing becomes clear. They don't just live for today. They live with an eye on the future. What truly sets them apart is their vision and foresight. They see opportunities where others see obstacles, and they think long-term, while most people are distracted by short-term pleasures. Vision is the ability to imagine possibilities before they exist. Millionaires often dream big, but they don't stop at dreaming. They plan, strategize, and execute toward that vision. For example, Jeff Bezos didn't just see Amazon as an online bookstore. His vision was to create the everything store. This kind of foresight requires not only imagination, but also courage to act on what others might dismiss as unrealistic. Foresight, on the other hand, is about anticipating trends and preparing for them. Millionaires often spot opportunities early, whether it's in business, investments, or personal growth. While others react to change, millionaires position themselves ahead of it. Think about Warren Buffett, who built his fortune by investing in undervalued companies before the rest of the world recognized their potential. His foresight wasn't luck. It was built on patience, knowledge, and a deep understanding of how markets evolve over time. But vision and foresight don't just apply to massive business empires. Even at a personal finance level, millionaires show this trait. They delay gratification not because they dislike nice things, but because they see a bigger picture: financial independence, freedom, and the ability to create generational wealth. Vision also keeps them from being distracted by superficial displays of wealth. While others chase flashy cars, designer clothes, or expensive gadgets, millionaires are guided by their bigger goals. They focus on building assets, not showing off liabilities. Their foresight reminds them that buying things to impress people is temporary, but building wealth creates lasting impact, not just for themselves, but for their families and communities. This long-term vision is also what gives millionaires resilience. When setbacks happen, and they do, vision becomes their compass. Instead of quitting, they adjust their strategy and keep moving forward because they see beyond the current obstacle. For them, failures are not dead ends, but stepping stones toward a larger vision. It's why you'll often hear millionaires described as builders. They're not just building wealth, they're building futures. Their foresight makes them proactive, not reactive. Their vision gives them direction, and their discipline ensures they keep walking toward it, even when the journey is difficult. Lesson: develop a mindset of sustainability. True millionaires focus on vision, not vanity. 2. They live below their means. One of the most misunderstood truths about millionaires is that they don't spend to impress. They spend with purpose. While society often associates wealth with luxury cars, designer wardrobes, and extravagant mansions, the reality is quite different for many self-made millionaires. Their wealth isn't built on showing off. It's built on discipline, intentional spending, and a deep understanding that money is a tool for freedom, not a trophy for attention. When most people get a pay raise or a windfall, their first instinct is lifestyle inflation, buying a bigger car, upgrading to a fancier house, or chasing the latest gadgets. But millionaires resist this urge. Instead of letting their expenses rise in step with their income, they carefully manage their spending so they can redirect excess cash into investments. They understand a timeless principle: if you spend everything you earn, you'll always stay stuck, no matter how much you make. Living below their means doesn't mean millionaires live miserably or deprive themselves. It simply means they are selective. They make purchases with intention, asking questions like, does this product or service help me save time? Will it improve my productivity? Does it enhance my health, relationships, or long-term growth? If the answer is no, they skip it. $1,000 smartphone might look attractive, but if their current phone does the job perfectly well, they won't upgrade just to keep up with trends. They'd rather invest that money into something that grows, like a stock, a property, or even developing a skill. This mindset is why many millionaires often surprise people with their modest lifestyles. They might drive a reliable, fuel-efficient car instead of a flashy sports car, live in a practical home rather than a sprawling mansion, or wear simple but durable clothes rather than chasing designer labels. Their confidence doesn't come from what's on their wrist or in their driveway. It comes from knowing their money is working for them behind the scenes. And that's where the real secret lies. By living below their means, millionaires free up large portions of their income to invest in assets, businesses, real estate, stocks, or other ventures that generate passive income. Over time, those assets multiply and compound, creating exponential growth in wealth. Meanwhile, people trying to look rich often trap themselves in debt, juggling car payments, credit card bills, and endless upgrades that drain their financial future. This is why many self-made millionaires quietly grow their fortunes while others go broke trying to fake it. Lesson: millionaires know that living below your means doesn't shrink their lifestyle. It's not about denial. It's about delayed gratification, purposeful choices, and using money to build lasting wealth instead of fleeting impressions. 3. They invest consistently. Millionaires understand a truth that many overlook. Money is not just for spending. It is a powerful tool. They don't see a dollar as something to trade for momentary pleasure. They see it as an employee that can be sent out to work and bring back more dollars. This shift in mindset is one of the biggest differences between the wealthy and everyone else. Instead of letting money sit idle in a savings account earning little to no interest, or worse, letting it slip away on short-term luxuries, millionaires give their money purpose. They allocate it into investments that generate returns and create new streams of income. Every dollar, when managed correctly, has the potential to grow and multiply, much like planting a seed that eventually turns into a tree producing fruit season after season. Millionaires achieve this by putting their money into high-yielding, income-generating assets. They diversify across different vehicles such as stocks and index funds, real estate, private businesses, dividend-paying stocks, bonds, startups, and alternative assets like hedge funds, cryptocurrency, or even fine art. Each of these investments has one thing in common. They keep the money working 24/7. For example, a stock investment might provide capital appreciation, dividends, or both. Real estate can offer rental income and long-term value appreciation. Private businesses and startups carry higher risks, but can deliver outsized returns. Even conservative assets like bonds still keep money flowing in the form of interest payments. The principle is simple. While the average person spends most of their paycheck on liabilities, things that depreciate in value or vanish after use, millionaires redirect a large portion of their earnings into assets. Over time, these assets create passive income streams that continue to grow even when they're not actively working. This is how millionaires achieve the famous concept of making money while you sleep. More importantly, this habit of putting money to work creates financial freedom. When your investments are generating consistent returns, you are no longer solely dependent on your own labor. Your time becomes yours again, giving you the freedom to pursue passions, grow businesses, or simply enjoy life without the constant stress of needing a paycheck. Contrast this with the average person. Most people spend their lives working hard for money. They trade their time, energy, and skills for income, only to spend it on bills, debts, and consumer goods that quickly lose value. Millionaires flip the script. They let money work hard for them. With each dollar earning more dollars, their wealth compounds, and their financial future becomes more secure with every passing year. This mindset doesn't just grow wealth, it transforms it into something sustainable and generational. Lesson: don't let your money sit idle. Put it into assets that grow and pay back returns over time. Number 4, they master the art of delegation. One of the most striking differences between millionaires and everyone else is how they value their time. For millionaires, time is not just money. It is life's most precious and non-renewable asset. You can lose money and earn it back, but once an hour is gone, it's gone forever. This awareness shapes how they make decisions, structure their days, and allocate their energy. Unlike the average person who often tries to juggle everything, cooking, cleaning, errands, paperwork, fixing small problems, and more, millionaires know that doing everything themselves comes at a steep hidden cost. Every minute spent on low-value, repetitive tasks is a minute stolen away from activities that could multiply their wealth, expand their influence, or improve their quality of life. That's why they become masters of delegation and leverage. Instead of seeing delegation as laziness or luxury, millionaires view it as an investment in productivity. They hire personal assistants to handle scheduling and emails, outsource household chores, and pay professionals to handle specialized tasks like accounting, legal work, or marketing. Some even go as far as automating their finances, outsourcing grocery shopping, or using services that buy back their time. By removing these smaller responsibilities from their plate, they create space to focus on what truly matters. This isn't just about convenience, it's about opportunity cost. At the core of this mindset is focus on high-value activities. Millionaires invest their reclaimed time into activities that drive exponential returns, scaling businesses, building investments, networking with influential people, or creating new income streams. Another key factor is mental clarity. When you're overloaded with trivial tasks, your brain gets cluttered, leaving less room for creativity and strategic thinking. Millionaires free themselves from these distractions, allowing them to think bigger, spot opportunities others miss, and maintain the discipline needed to execute on their vision. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world, from Elon Musk to Oprah Winfrey, credit much of their success to ruthless time management. Musk delegates technical work to specialized teams so he can focus on vision and innovation. Oprah has assistants managing her schedule, so her attention is spent on projects that matter most to her brand and impact. These examples prove that mastering time isn't optional for success. It's essential. Lesson: spend their time on wealth building, not busy work. 5. They keep learning. Millionaires are lifelong learners because they know that wealth isn't built by luck alone, but by constantly upgrading their knowledge and perspective. Instead of assuming they know it all, they treat learning as an ongoing investment that compounds over time, just like money does. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, famously reads about 5 hours a day, immersing himself in books, reports, and articles to sharpen his decision-making skills. Elon Musk, before ever launching SpaceX, taught himself rocket science by devouring textbooks and industry publications, knowledge that experts initially doubted he could master without formal training. These examples highlight a key truth. The wealthy continuously feed their minds with new ideas, strategies, and insights. By doing so, they stay ahead of trends, adapt to change, and spot opportunities long before others. Lifelong learning is not just a habit for millionaires, it's their competitive advantage. Lesson: millionaires grow richer because they never stop growing smarter. Lifelong learning is their secret weapon. 6. They build multiple income streams. One of the defining characteristics of millionaires is that they refuse to put all their eggs in one basket. They understand that depending on a single paycheck or one source of income is one of the riskiest financial positions anyone can be in. Life is unpredictable. Companies downsize, industries collapse, markets shift, and even thriving businesses can face setbacks. For the average person living paycheck to paycheck, a sudden job loss or financial disruption can mean disaster. But millionaires protect themselves from this vulnerability by building multiple streams of income. Instead of relying on one source, millionaires create an entire ecosystem of cash flows. Their income isn't just tied to one paycheck or business. It's spread across diverse channels. For instance, a millionaire might earn from a primary business or career, but alongside that, they may also generate cash from rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, royalties from intellectual property, profits from side ventures, or even modern opportunities like digital products, e-commerce, and cryptocurrency investments. By diversifying where their money comes from, they ensure that even if one stream dries up, the others continue to sustain and grow their wealth. But the goal isn't just security, it's also about acceleration of wealth. With multiple income streams, millionaires create a compounding effect. One stream may cover basic living expenses, while others are reinvested to buy more assets, build businesses, or fund new opportunities. This way, money isn't just earned and spent, it's constantly being multiplied and reinvested to generate more money. Over time, these layers of income feed off each other, creating a snowball effect that accelerates wealth building far beyond what a single paycheck could ever provide. It's important to note that millionaires don't just chase money blindly. They are strategic in how they build and balance their streams. They might start with a strong active income from a business or profession, then funnel those earnings into more passive streams like real estate or index funds. Over time, they create a mix of active and passive income sources that not only keep their wealth growing, but also give them stability in uncertain times. Lesson: don't rely on one paycheck. Build multiple streams of income so money flows from every direction. 7. They network strategically. It's not just who you know, it's who knows you. This simple phrase captures one of the most underrated secrets of wealth: the power of relationships. Millionaires understand that money doesn't exist in isolation. It flows through people, through trust, and through networks. They don't just chase after connections for the sake of name-dropping. Instead, they position themselves in circles where opportunities are constantly created and exchanged. When the right people know who you are, your skills, your character, your vision, they think of you when new deals, investments, or partnerships come up. That's how doors open. Consider the difference between knowing a CEO and that CEO knowing you. If you only know them, you might admire them from afar or even read their books, but it won't change your financial trajectory. If they know you, your reputation, your competence, your reliability, they may call you when there's an investment opportunity, introduce you to another leader, or trust you with a project that could multiply your wealth. That's why millionaires actively cultivate visibility and credibility in their networks. They attend conferences, mastermind groups, charity galas, and business summits, not because they crave socializing, but because they know those environments are where high-value people gather. They invest in mentors, advisors, and peer groups, understanding that one introduction can sometimes be worth more than years of solitary effort. In fact, research has shown that your income often reflects the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's why millionaires are intentional about surrounding themselves with other ambitious, forward-thinking individuals who challenge them to grow. This mindset also explains why many millionaires give back to their networks, offering advice, mentorship, or even resources without immediate expectation of return. They know relationships compound just like money does. By adding value to others, they position themselves as trusted, indispensable allies. And when those same people encounter opportunities, guess who comes to mind first? In short, millionaires play the long game with relationships. They build not only a strong Rolodex, but a strong reputation. They don't just know people, they make sure the right people know them, respect them, and trust them. That social capital often translates into financial capital. Lesson: it's not just who you know, it's who knows you. Surround yourself with high-value people who can open new doors. 8. They track their finances. Track your finances. It sounds simple, but this habit separates those who struggle with money from those who master it. Wealthy people treat their personal finances the same way a CEO treats a company, as a business that must be managed, measured, and optimized. They don't leave money to chance or rely on vague assumptions like, "I think I'm doing okay." Instead, they know exactly what's coming in, what's going out, what they own, and what they owe. In other words, they manage their cash flow, assets, and liabilities with precision. Think about it. No successful business survives without keeping books, analyzing profits and losses, or balancing accounts. If a company just guessed its revenue or ignored its expenses, it would collapse quickly. Yet many individuals run their personal finances this way, spending freely, relying on memory, and hoping their paycheck covers everything. Millionaires avoid this trap. They measure. By tracking income, they know how much money is actually available to allocate toward necessities, luxuries, savings, and investments. By monitoring expenses, they catch hidden leaks, those small recurring charges, unused subscriptions, or impulsive purchases that drain wealth quietly. By listing assets like property, stocks, businesses, and liabilities like loans or credit card debt, they have a clear picture of their net worth, a real measure of financial health that most people never calculate. This data-driven approach allows the wealthy to make informed decisions. For example, if cash flow shows a surplus, they know exactly how much can be invested without jeopardizing lifestyle stability. If liabilities are climbing, they create a plan to aggressively pay them down before they spiral out of control. Tracking finances doesn't just prevent disaster, it creates clarity and confidence. Technology makes this habit easier than ever. Millionaires often use financial dashboards, apps, or even hire accountants to generate monthly reports. Just like a business reviews quarterly performance, they regularly review their personal financial statements. The goal isn't to obsess over every dollar, but to stay in control, because what gets measured gets managed. and what gets managed grows. Ultimately, the wealthy understand that money is not just about earning, it's about managing. You can't build financial freedom if you don't know your numbers. Tracking your finances transforms money from a mystery into a tool, giving you the clarity to make smarter decisions and the confidence to pursue bigger opportunities. Lesson: treat money like a business. Know your cash flow, assets, and debts. 9. They take calculated risks. On the surface, millionaires may look like risk takers. After all, they invest in volatile markets, launch businesses, and sometimes make bold decisions with huge amounts of money on the line. But here's the truth most people miss. Millionaires are not reckless gamblers. They don't throw money into something just because it's trendy or because they hope it works out. Instead, they are calculated risk takers. The difference between gambling and calculated risk is preparation. When you gamble, you rely on chance. You hope luck swings in your favor, but you have no control over the outcome. This is how many people approach money: jumping on a hot stock tip, playing the lottery, betting on crypto hype, or spending on ventures they know little about. The wealthy, on the other hand, play a very different game. They put in the time to research, study the odds, and gather as much information as possible before making a decision. For example, when investing in real estate, a gambler might buy property based on excitement alone. This neighborhood looks nice. A millionaire, however, would study rental yields, vacancy rates, future development plans, financing terms, and tax implications. Only after weighing all the risks and rewards would they move forward. Similarly, when entering the stock market, the average person might gamble by following hype-driven stocks, while the wealthy prefer index funds, diversified portfolios, and proven strategies with long-term track records. This doesn't mean millionaires avoid all risk. In fact, they often take bigger risks than average people. But those risks are informed and backed by careful planning. They understand that wealth grows by leveraging opportunities, but survival depends on protecting downside risk. In other words, they ask, what's the worst that could happen, and can I live with it? If the answer is yes, and the odds of success outweigh the risks, they proceed. Think of Elon Musk investing his last millions into SpaceX and Tesla when most people thought he would fail. That wasn't gambling. It was a visionary bet rooted in research, expertise, and conviction. Think of Warren Buffett, who famously said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." His entire investment philosophy is about eliminating unnecessary risk by fully understanding the business before buying into it. At its core, this habit reflects a mindset. The wealthy treat money decisions like a science, not a roll of the dice. They don't rely on luck because they know wealth is built on knowledge, discipline, and calculated risk-taking. That's why they win more often, not because they never lose, but because they've mastered the art of stacking the odds in their favor. Lesson: don't gamble. Research, weigh the odds, and then act. That's how to catch big wins while minimizing losses. 10. They focus on solutions, not problems. One of the biggest mindset differences between millionaires and the average person is how they respond to challenges. Where most people see problems as roadblocks, millionaires see them as opportunities for solutions. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, they immediately shift their energy toward asking, how can this be fixed? How can this be improved? How can this be turned into a win? Think about it. Problems are everywhere. Every industry has gaps, every system has inefficiencies, and every person faces obstacles in life. The difference lies in perspective. The average person gets stuck complaining about the problem. The economy is bad, my boss won't give me a raise, this system is unfair. Millionaires, on the other hand, train their minds to think differently. They acknowledge the problem but spend 90% of their energy on solutions. This mindset is why so many millionaires are entrepreneurs and innovators. Every successful business started as a solution to a problem. It's also important to note that focusing on solutions isn't just about business. It's about personal growth. When faced with setbacks, millionaires ask, what can I learn from this? Rather than, why did this happen to me? This forward-thinking mentality allows them to adapt quickly and stay ahead, while others remain stuck in frustration or fear. Focusing on solutions also attracts people and opportunities. Nobody wants to follow or invest in someone who only complains. People are drawn to those who bring answers and results. That's why millionaires tend to have powerful networks. They're seen as problem solvers, leaders, and visionaries. Of course, this doesn't mean millionaires ignore problems or pretend they don't exist. They see problems clearly, but they refuse to be paralyzed by them. They view problems as raw material, the starting point for innovation, creativity, and wealth building. In fact, the bigger the problem, the bigger the potential reward for solving it. That's why crises often create billionaires. While most people panic, the wealthy look for the hidden opportunities. Lesson: when faced with challenges, ask, how can I fix this, instead of dwelling on why it's broken. 11. They practice self-discipline. If there's one trait that quietly separates millionaires from the average person, it's discipline. Wealth isn't usually created by one lucky break, a lottery ticket, or a single bold move. It's created through consistent, disciplined actions repeated over years, sometimes decades. Millionaires understand that discipline is the invisible engine driving their success. It's not glamorous, but it's unstoppable. Discipline shows up in every corner of their lives. For instance, many millionaires exercise daily. At first glance, working out might not seem connected to wealth, but in reality, it is. Physical discipline builds mental toughness. The ability to push through discomfort in the gym translates into resilience in business. Sticking to a fitness routine sharpens focus, improves energy, and reinforces the habit of showing up even when you don't feel like it. And that's exactly the mindset required to grow wealth. Financial discipline is another cornerstone. Millionaires live by budgets, not because they're stingy, but because they respect money and understand that unmonitored spending is the fastest way to lose wealth. They set aside a fixed percentage for savings and investments before indulging in lifestyle expenses. They resist lifestyle inflation and avoid reckless debt because discipline has trained them to delay gratification in exchange for long-term rewards. This discipline also extends to their work ethic. Millionaires don't always rely on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Instead, they build routines and stick to them. Whether it's reading daily, networking consistently, or carving out time for strategic planning, they treat these small habits as non-negotiable. Over time, these disciplined actions compound into massive results. What's fascinating is that discipline often becomes their competitive edge. Most people give up when things get hard, boring, or slow. Millionaires push through those phases because discipline keeps them grounded in the process, not just the outcome. While others are distracted by the next shiny trend or get-rich-quick scheme, disciplined individuals stay the course, steadily building wealth brick by brick. In essence, millionaires know that discipline is freedom. By disciplining their money, their habits, and their time, they gain the freedom to live life on their terms. Discipline may feel restrictive in the short term, but in reality, it opens the door to long-term abundance. Lesson: millionaires don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. It's the steady force that turns small habits into extraordinary wealth over time. In conclusion, millionaire habits aren't about being lucky. They're about being consistent. Start with one habit today and watch how it compounds over time. Which of these habits will you start first? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wealth-building tips.